Hello everyone, this is Grace. It is April the 2nd, 2025, and we are continuing our study on clean and unclean foods. And we left off, we were speaking of locusts, but we want to do a quick review to get us back to that point. Let's just read from Leviticus 11:20. All fowls that creep going upon all four shall be an abomination unto you. Yet these may ye eat of every flying creeping thing that goeth upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. Even these of them ye may eat, the locust after his kind, and the ball locust after his kind, and the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. Now, fowls in the Bible just means that they have wings that can fly. It doesn't mean a bird necessarily. So this is fine. These are also considered creeping things. But all other flying creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. So I took issue with this word other. And so I started investigating these bugs, and I investigated locusts. This, by the way, just so you all know, is all going to end up being a lie as well. And it's all going to be deleted out. It's all a lie. All of it belongs in red. It was not written by the prophet. But anyway, before I got to that, I had to investigate. So because it said other flying, creeping things here, instead of all flying, creeping things, I was looking for more information. That took me to Deuteronomy chapter 14. We read through this in the previous video. It just goes through and reviews a lot of the information that was given in Leviticus chapter 11. None of this, though, all of this is lies. None of it was written by the prophet. It just used the information for Leviticus 11 in order to repeat the information here. So anyway, we get down to the birds. Of all clean birds ye shall eat, but of these are they which ye shall not eat: the eagle, and the ostrich, and the osprey, the glide, and the glade, and the kite, and the vulture after his kind, and every raven after his kind, the owl, and the nighthawk, and the cuckoo, and the hawk after his kind, and the little owl, and the great owl, and the swan, and the pelican, and the guire eagle, and the cormorant, and the stork, and the heron after her kind, and the lapwing, and the bat, and every creeping thing that flieth is unclean unto you; they shall not be eaten. This is in a direct contrast to what we just read, where they had plucked in the word other. It said every other creeping thing, other than the locust and the caterpillar and the beetle and things such as that. But of all clean fowls ye may eat. Ye shall not eat anything that dieth. We don't need that part. So we did a little investigation into the locusts. Native to Madagascar, the incredibly colored rainbow milkweed locust is toxic due to its propensity to eat milkweed. The stunning colors and wild patterns make this species look like it belongs on Pandora, the alien moon setting of James Cameron's film Avatar. When our rainbow milkweed locust is poisonous to human. When threatened, it, like other members of its genus, it produces a poisonous froth from openings beneath its wings. This toxin comes from the milkweed plant, which the locust eats, and is strong enough to kill animal and people. Was John the Baptist a vegetarian? While John the Baptist's diet is described as eating locusts and wild honey in the Gospels, the term locust could refer to either the insect or the carrot bean, suggesting a potential vegetarian or at least plant-based diet. In ancient Greece, the word for locust, the insect, is, while the Greek word for carrot tree referring to the pods, is meaning little horn. And they're not close. So it couldn't have been a grammatical mistake, because they don't look anything like each other. John the Baptist's diet has been the center of much discussion. For many years, the Greek word for locust was interpreted as referring not to locust, the insect, but rather the seed pods of the carob tree. But the Greek word is not used this way, and this notion is generally rejected today. Carob grown on trees is a member of the legume family and is frequently turned into a popular chocolate substitute. It is also known as locust bean or St. John's bread. That's where the confusion began. It was called locust bean, John's bread, and has been cultivated since the late 1800s in the Mediterranean and other plants in the Mediterranean and other parts of the world with similar climates. And that's it. So let's look at the Bible and the use of locusts when referring to locusts. So this is the plague of locusts. And Moses stretched out thine hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, that they may come up upon the land of Egypt and eat every herb of the land, ever all that the hail hath left, even all that the hail has left. And Moses stretched forth the rod over the land of Egypt, and the Lord brought an east wind upon the land all that day and all that night. And when it was morning, the east wind brought the locusts. And the locusts went up over all the land of Egypt and rested in all the coast of Egypt. Very grievous were they. Before them there were no such locusts as they, neither after them shall be such. For they covered the face of the whole earth, so that the land was darkened, and they did eat every herb of the land, and all the fruit of the trees which the hail had left, and there remained not any green thing in the tree or in the herbs of the field through all the land of Egypt. How can an insect that can be eaten by food, I can understand how we can eat everything. But they could have just gone out there and got bags of locusts and eaten them. Do you see the problem? Everyone could have eaten for a very long time off of that many locusts. Just like they went out and got those quails when the Lord brought a wind and carried the quails to the land. Instead, he's going to call these locusts the death. The death. They couldn't eat those locusts. Now therefore forgive, I pray thee, my sin. Then Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron in haste, and he said, I have sinned against the Lord your God and against you. Now therefore forgive, I pray thee, my sin, only this once, and entreat the Lord your God, that he may take away from me the death only. And they make it very clear because they put the death. They identify it as the, which is this word here, and the death. And then they put this in front of it so that there can be no mistaking that he is named the plague, the death, or the locust, the death. I'm not really sure. It doesn't matter. It's all one thing. But it's called the death. There's one other instance where the death is used. I put it in here. Hold on. I have to get scriptures for all ready. We'll come back to this. Deuteronomy 30:15. Hold on. Okay, so let's look at it. And so you can't see it here. You can't see the death, but you can see it in scriptures for all. So, see, I have set before thee this day life and good and death and evil, or the death and evil. So what is he doing here? He is naming the good as the living and the evil as the dead. The living and the dead. That's the only other place I could find it. Oops. Okay, so let's go back. So, takeaway. Never mind, I've already done it. Let's just read through the rest of it. And he went out from Pharaoh and entreated the Lord. And the Lord turned a mighty strong west wind, which took away the locusts and cast them into the Red Sea. There remained not one locust in all the coasts of Egypt. Not only did he take them away, he took all of them away. But they could have eaten some of them if they were food. And the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart so that he would not let the children of Israel go. Now, how did the Lord harden his heart? Pharaoh was proud. He hardened his heart because he helped him. He did something for Pharaoh that Pharaoh couldn't do. And he made Pharaoh uncomfortable on his throne. So, because Pharaoh was uncomfortable, he hardened his heart toward God by being kind and taking away the locusts when Pharaoh couldn't do it himself. Kindness hardens the heart. If there be in the land famine, if there be pestilence, blasting, mildew, locusts, or if there be caterpillar, if their enemy besiege them in the land of their cities, whatsoever plague, whatsoever sickness there be. This is from the prayer of Solomon. He lists locusts as part of a plague. This is a horrible thing to come upon a town. This isn't a blessing, something you can eat, something the poor could gather up for themselves and not starve or die. And I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army, which I sent among you. The next verse will explain that even more. There shall the fire devour thee. The sword shall cut thee off. It shall eat thee up like the cankerworm. Make thyself many as the cankerworm. Make thyself many as the locust. So these things multiply quickly. What edible animal in the world multiplies itself like that? I've watched my share of the Asian films that come on YouTube, and they eat everything. They eat everything in those shops. When you see the shops, it's not like the African shops and the other shops. There's no flies there. They don't have flies all over their food. You know what? They eat maggots. I have seen them. They eat that kind of stuff. They will eat anything they can sell. Anything they can sell. They are not playing with their food. I've seen a lot of different things on a lot of different plates and a lot of different shows. I've never once seen a locust. But it says, make thyself many. Now what inspiring businessman wouldn't be breeding locusts if they could breed very quickly and were edible? It's not real. It's not real. They put it in there. They added it at the last minute in order to change what John the Baptist ate. It was in the Bible. You couldn't eat those things. They had to change it. They had to add it in there, and all it took was one word. Well, first they had to put the sentence in there, and then they just changed it from don't eat any of these things to don't eat any of the other things. And the same John had his raiment of camel's hair and a leathern girdle, and a leather. Oh, I think it's a leathern. Okay, I'm gonna have to change my font on here. And a leathern girdle about his loins, and his meat was locusts and wild honey. His meat was carob beans and wild honey. Locusts are unclean. Let's look at that verse real quick that I put in here. Let's look at the difference. And there went forth a wind from the Lord and brought quails from the sea, and let them fall by the camp. And it were a day's journey on this side, and as it were a day's journey on that side, all about the camp. You could walk a day's journey in any direction, and you would see birds. But yet it's not called a plague, it's called a blessing. And as it were 2 cubits high upon the face of the earth. They didn't say, oh, woe is me, they're going to eat all the berries, they're going to eat all the grass, there's going to be poop everywhere. Look, we had locusts come through. When I was a young girl, we had locusts come through, and we had a berry tree. They would sit on the berry tree, and when they would leave, they shed like their skin or their exoskeleton, whatever it's called. And when they would leave under the tree, the whole ground would be covered with exoskeletons of the lotus that would fly through there. And then the birds, the crows, when they would migrate, they would poop over everything. They would leave long trails of poop just everywhere. But none of that, no plagues at all, nothing to worry about. Just round them up and eat them, because that's what we do. It's free food brought to your doorstep. Come on, let's just be real. People were poor back then. How can a locust be a plague if it was edible? It wasn't edible. They're poisonous. They have poison. And John was clothed with camel's hair and with a girdle of a skin about his loins, and he did eat locusts and wild honey. I think that's my last scripture, yeah. So let's go back. Hopefully I marked it. I did. Let's just do a quick read through. We'll skip this part. We've already read through that in the previous video. Without the lies. Of their flesh shall ye eat. Well, we didn't need that. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters, in the seas and in the rivers, them shall ye eat. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that moveth in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters. You shall not eat of their flesh. And these, among the fowls, they shall not be eaten, the eagle and the ostrich and the osprey, the vulture and the kite after his kind, every raven after his kind, the owl and the nighthawk, and the cuckoo, and the hawk after his kind, and the little owl and the cormorant. I think that's just cormorant. And the cormorant, and the great owl, and the swan, and the pelican, and the gier eagle, and the stork, and the heron after his kind, and the lapwing, and the bat. Well, we need this. All fowls. No, that's not right. Here we go. So, but all flying, creeping things. This is a little bit difficult, because that other can't be in there. See, they changed this. We'll just move this up here. And the stork, the heron after his kind, and the lapwing, and the bat, all flying, creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination to you. So, yes, we'll do it like that. And the stork and the heron after her kind, and the lapwing and the bat, but all flying, creeping things which have 4 feet shall be an abomination unto you. And that is where we will stop. Leviticus 23. That's our last verse. And I will talk with you in the next video.